Heroic Blackrock Mountain on stream last night.
How'd that go?
Well, I knocked out the first 3, which was Executus Ragnaros, and then Omok, and then Drakisath, pretty easily. And then I spent 3 hours on Ren Blackhand. That is the correct sound, yeah.
And what was his deal again? Remind me.
His hero power changes every turn.
Uh-huh.
And he starts with get 3 2/2s. And thank you for the other bit, Ace. And he gets, let's see, it's 3 2/2s or 2 2/2s with taunt, or a 5/4 for 1, or the freaking 8/8.
Yeah, that's rough.
So, yeah, it took like 3 hours to figure out how to beat him and then actually execute that. It's going to be a bitch to edit. I have a rough idea of how to edit it so it's not too miserable to watch. Or edit. But anyway. All right, we good to go? Should we start the actual episode for realsies?
Yes.
Even this orc knows you're doing it wrong. Yeah. You're climbing the wrong mountain. Because I was trying to get a good opening hand, so I'd draw my opening hand and then mulligan and go, damn it, and restart.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to hear the intro line over and over and over. It was awful. But anyway. Okay, so is this episode number right? It
532.
It is. Good. Yay. Okay, here we go. Ow, jam. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mana Pool. This is episode 532 of the Mana Pool. What was that?
Is someone podcasting near the ocean? Because it sounds like the tide.
It's coming from Mike.
Oh, there we go.
Was I breathing? I guess I was breathing in the microphone.
I don't think that was breathing. Wait a
No.
minute.
Okay.
It was happening after I would say something, I'd hear it, so hang on.
Oh, never. I forgot to reground myself when I sat back down.
Oh,
Maybe that was it.
okay.
Oh, it's gone now.
Good. Yeah, there we go. So let's try this again. Also, thank you for the resub, 10th Tech Priest. You're a sweetheart. So let's try this again. What was that? 3 months in a row? Sick. Ow, jam! Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mana Pool. This is episode 532 of the Mana Pool. That is not a small number. And I am Chewy, the lead dork. Yay! Dorks.
Yay.
Huzzah.
Hey, look, there's some other dorks. Oh my god, what are you doing in this internet?
In the internet. I'm Brian. I'm the lead rambler, tangent master of the group. And I don't know. I might vote for Gul'dan depending on who his opponent is. If it's like Gul'dan versus Deathwing or Gul'dan versus I don't know the World Warcraft people.
Diablo.
But, you know. Yes, Gul'dan versus Diablo, 2020. Who will win? We will all lose. Because it's a two-party system. So.
I'm Mike. I'm the rules guy and the game lore guy, and I'm in this internet because it's just a lot brighter and cleaner than that other internet. Don't go to that other internet.
Oh,
It's not
the
good.
dark one?
Yeah.
Yeah, they call it that. For a reason.
Because it's racist.
And I'm Dirk, the self-proclaimed greenest man alive and moral compass of the group. And if I could be anywhere, it would probably be not where there is absolute madness going on every day And when I turn on the news, I feel like my regular world looks like drama. Looks like a sitcom that I just wish I could turn off.
Yeah, real life is getting closer and closer to like an HBO show, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm starting to wonder.
I think
If only the Khaleesi would just come and, do something about it.
I think we're one election cycle away from Dirk's spark igniting.
I did not understand Dirk's reference, but
It was a Game of Thrones thing.
that would be why I didn't get it. Okay.
Winter is kind of coming.
Almost.
Wouldn't that be nice to actually get winter for a while? Man. Anyway, so that's what we're here for, is to remind you that there are good things going on somewhere, like on the internet. Hi!
Yo.
Speaking of good things going on Saturday, November 17th, have to get this out of the way first. Saturday. Did I say December?
You said November.
Okay, good. Saturday, November 17th. That's 2 Saturdays from when we're recording this. We're recording this on a Thursday. But I'm doing the annual Manipool charity live stream supporting Take This. And it will be on the 17th. And it's going to be a roguelike stream of roguelike games. I have a list of, at the moment, 28 roguelike games installed on the PC. Most of them are very small, so don't worry. Some of them were double-digit megabytes. I was like, really? Is that all? Awesome! But because I have so many, I'm going to be... So, for those that don't know, it's a question I get every once in a while. Roguelikes are games that have, by and large, two big things about them. Roguelike is like an overarching genre, like superhero movie. You know, you can have superhero movies of all kinds of genres, which we do, by the way. Roguelike is an overarching genre that can actually handle any kind of video game genre. I've got platforming roguelikes and shooter roguelikes and dungeon crawling roguelikes and turn-based roguelikes. It's going to be awesome. So we're going to be... I keep saying we. I'm going to be... I forgot to finish explaining roguelike. Roguelikes have two big things going for them.
I was about to ask.
One is for random generation of something, usually the levels or the world. It's randomly generated. And two, it has permadeath. And so the stream, the roguelike charity stream of roguelikes, will have random generation, because I will randomly generate which game I play next, and permadeath, because it's real life, so yeah.
When
That one's kind of a given.
Die in real life.
No, but...
Your brain makes it real.
So, 10th Tech Priest said roguelike is a subtype, like legendary or arcane. Good call. So yeah, that's 17th. We're supporting Take This, just like we did the last 2 years. And it's gonna be awesome. I'm trying to figure out where I have bookmarked.
If it's a subtype, does that mean that I can splice onto roguelike?
Only if a card says that.
Yes. I feel like I need to put on a fedora and say, actually, legendary is a super type.
Yeah.
But I get what you meant.
So I can't find the... There it is. I knew I had the previous year's streams bookmark, or not streams. Okay, so the first year we made $1,001.
Nice.
And then the second year... what? Uh-oh, this bookmark is broken. No! Okay, hang on. The Manipool. Aha. So the first year we made $1,001. The second year we made $15.52 and 3 cents, but we'll ignore those. So that means the goal this year will be $15.33 because that's just how I do it. I start with last year's goal and raise it by $1. Because the goal is to beat last year's goal. Yes. But there you go. Take This is an organization at takethis.org, if you'd like to know more, that is helping to spread the word and remove the stigma of mental health problems in the gaming and the greater nerd community. They provide resources, guidelines, and training about mental health issues in the game community, thus reducing the stigma of mental illness, read directly off of the website. And they're also the ones at the various large events, starting with PAX, and they've gone to other events now, the AFK rooms.
Mhm.
So,
What's an AFK room? As someone that has never been to PAX. So.
the AFK room is a place and a giant convention, or a convention of any sort. But like I said, it started at PAX, which is a giant convention, to go and get away from the massive hustle and bustle and insanity and talk to someone if you need it.
Nice. I can see that being valuable for a lot of people, not just people with social anxiety or agoraphobia, but there may be a point where almost anyone would be like, wow, this is a lot of people. I need to sit down and not be.
It's not just, it says, more than a quiet room. The Take This AFK room is a staffed, relaxed space for anyone who feels overwhelmed and needs a place to regain their calm. It's run by local volunteers and clinicians. Is that the right word?
Clinician.
Okay, that's how you say that? Got it. Mm-hmm. Trained by Take This to moderate and maintain the atmosphere of the AFK room, we strive to offer education, resources, and a listening ear to convention attendees without verging into offering therapeutic treatment, because they can't do that. So, yes, it is. Obviously, it's an excellent program, the AFK room, because it's spread from PAX to other events now. Mm-hmm. And yeah. So that's who will be helping. Like we have for the last 2 years. So one more time. Saturday, November 17th, starting at, 11, 12 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Time. And going until I die. Because permadeath. But I'm planning on streaming for... The hope is to get in at least 12 hours. To maximize the donations. So, yes, come hang out. I'll be playing all kinds of games all day. There's no need to, hang out all day. But if you want to, that's cool. But stop in, say hi. Throw some money at charity. I'll be doing game giveaways again on Steam. Well, games to be given away, most of which are on Steam. So yay! Give it to charity and maybe get something out of it. Sick. All right then. That is the important announcement. Okay. So this is what I say, 5:32? Yes. And we're gonna do something. Well, I say a little different, but we do so much nonsense that it's hard to come up with something actually different.
But this is I don't know if I want to call it a segment, because segment implies that we know we'll be doing it again, but this is a topic.
Oh, whoops. Wait a minute. Mike also reminded me just now of the other big announcement.
Okay, just wondering.
Thank you, Mike. The other big announcement, as some of you may know, they have announced, or hopefully all of you do by now, they have announced the Ultimate Masters set. Wizards has, Ultimate Masters, the final Master set for the time being. Well, next week there will not be a live stream of the Mana Pool because we got a preview card. Spoilers, it's a reprint.
No.
I was talking to Bill and Clues the next day after I got the email. I was like, oh, by the way, you guys, the Mana Pool got a preview card, Monday Night Magic didn't, and they went, yeah, that's to be expected. It's like, I mean, it's a reprint though, so no big deal. And Bill was like, wait. He's like, isn't UMA a reprint set? I was like, what? He goes, wait, it is, right? Yes, Bill, I'm messing with you. Oh, I didn't know if I just had a stroke or you had a stroke or what. So yeah, sorry you guys, we can't do a live episode next week because we have a preview card. But don't worry, it's not never-ending preview season this time because the preview period will be Monday and Tuesday. The 19th and 20th will be preview season for UMA. So, neat. So there you go. Okay, now, Brian, you were saying, I'm so sorry to have to interrupt you, but Mike
No,
told me
that's
to.
right. I saw that as well, and I was mid-sentence, so I figured you'd either break in or you wouldn't. But no, we not to say that we do the same parts and bits on the show every week, but we have some of our standby discussions. And every now and then it's good to try something we have not tried before. So it was actually in discussing what we were going to do a little while ago, and we ended up going with the RPG episode instead, which I think has been pretty well received. They usually are. It was a lot of fun for me anyway. It's torture for them, I'm sure. But we had 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 a brief discussion about what other topics might be, and I think I threw this one out there. Then this week, Mike was like, "Hey, we should totally do that thing that Brian mentioned." I was like, "Yes, we should," because I was hoping it would lead to an interesting discussion. So today we are going to have a. I'm sorry. I have to. I'm a little distracted myself. 10th Tech Priest. Imagine if the preview was literally just Hatchery Spider again. Yes.
I have no response to that. Also, Turbo, thank you for the 100 bits from like a long time ago. And no, you're not doing it right. That is not charity. While I might be a charity case, I am not a charity.
Right. So, before I take forever to get to this, which we're already way too late for that, what I wanted to do, and they agreed to do, was have a bit of a discussion here. One of the things that's been happening with the Magic story in the Guilds of Ravnica is it's taken a look at some of the citizens of Ravnica and every week seems to be someone that belongs to a particular guild and kind of giving a perspective into their daily lives and what's going on with them, as opposed to the focus on the end of the world and these planeswalkers that have been to multiple planes and they're fighting against ancient dragons and all that. This is like Joe Schmo, who works for the Gruul, and he's actually secretly a Demir agent, but his life sucks and he can't afford his rent and da, da, da. And so that kind of got me thinking a little bit. That seems like an interesting idea for Ravnica, but what about other planes as well? These planeswalkers come and they go and they have their major world ending conflicts, but what's it like to be a merfolk that used to worship, was it Kozilek?
Well, Kosi, yeah.
Kosi, yeah. You used to worship Kosi, now you don't. What's their life like right now? So we thought we might talk about some of the various planes of the multiverse, and we had a brief discussion about, are we going to just like go free form and talk about a whole bunch? And what we've decided to do is, we're not sure how long each individual discussion would be, but we would go a little more in depth, and we each kind of nominated a plane that we'll talk about, and of course everyone will talk about each of these planes. We've got 4 planes that we're going to talk about today, and if you guys like this, those tuning in via Twitch and those listening to the show later, if you enjoy the segment, be sure to let us know. So and if you think, wow, this was really a forced topic and you guys were really stretching, then we'll be like, yeah, okay, we gave it a shot, and we won't torture you with doing it again. So,
which Brian could
On
have
that-
left that part out, but whatever.
No, well, I mean, I like honest feedback, and not everything. I think most of the part, for the most part, a lot of our discussions have been fun and interesting, but I think we all agree that were like later we're like, that didn't go quite as well as we hoped. Remember when we used to do binder polls?
Let's just go through our rare binder and talk about a card. Oh God,
It was neat for a little while, but
it
yeah.
was.
Coming next week, the hyped return of binder polls. No, not really. So why don't we go ahead? We mentioned that we really did need to talk about Ravnica. It's kind of the set going on right now. It's in everybody's mind, and it's a plane that's been fleshed out really well because we've literally had 2 full blocks set there before, and we're going back again. So let's talk about Ravnica, shall we?
Yes, let's shall.
Great. So, just as a general background for the plane, everybody knows it's the city plane. The entire plane is one big city, broken down. It's got some of those parks and whatnot. Some areas dominated by the Gruul, but otherwise, it's one big sprawling city.
It's like the magic version of Dirk. It's the magic version of.
Magic version of me?
That
Oh,
yeah, I'm not sure where you're going.
What's the freaking the planet that's a city? In Star Wars.
Coruscant?
Coruscant. There we go. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't think of the name.
It's like the magic version of Dirk, and we're like, what? I don't understand.
That's what I
why
was
it's so
like.
awesome. I get it now.
Jam.
Dirk is the everyman. So, yes. We talk about. Well, okay. Sorry, I was about to veer off. Let's stay on target.
Stay on target.
So the average citizen on Ravnica, their lives are pretty well dictated by these 10 guilds, and each guild, as we know, serves some sort of function. It's not just, hey, here's a cool club. Each one provides something for the benefit of the whole. However, we also know that that there are people that are not necessarily affiliated with any guild, and it seems to me, and Mike can correct me on the lore standpoint, that a lot of the guildless are seen as second class citizens. You don't have the protection of a guild, so you're just kind of like you don't get the benefits either. You're not beholden to anyone, but at the same time, you're almost kind of beholden to everyone else.
Yeah, and I do get the impression that there are members of the guilds might look a little down on, the average guildless person, but it's hard to tell whether the vast majority of people on Ravnica are ungilded, or maybe just the most people, or maybe even a slight minority of people. It's really hard to tell because the focus of the game is mostly on the guilds themselves, because
Right.
that's the flashy, interesting part.
Yeah.
And you only get glimpses here and there of regular folks.
And even when we see the guilds, a lot of the emphasis can be on the guild leaders. So we're talking about starting at the top. We don't get to see a lot of, again, except for some of the stories we've been getting lately, the day-to-day comings and goings.
Yeah.
There's been mentions of the guildless in previous sets, including cards like Govern the Guildless, and they're referenced on some flavor text. But that's you bring up a really interesting point. We've never obviously seen a census of Ravnica, and it's one of those things where most people that are in guilds probably assume that everyone is like them, because that's how cliques work, and cliques work both in real world as well as in fantasy. Think about high school, think about college, think about at your job. People automatically get political. It's kind of sad, but at the same time, people gravitate toward other people with like minds, with like interests, with shared goals. And so you get in there and you start thinking about everybody else in terms of what you're going through. So that's a very good point. A lot of the play is focused on the relationship and the dynamics between these guilds. For all we know, maybe like 70-80% of the population is guildless. They're just going about their daily lives, and they're affected by the guilds because the guilds control so much of Ravnica, but they haven't made it into any of them, or they don't desire to be, and so they're just there. And conversely, it may be 20%. Go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, it's like, and each guild is associated not with, each guild is pretty well associated with a specific function, with a specific line of work
Right.
in everyday life. To run through them real quickly. The Azorius are,
They do the census, or they don't. Those bastards.
yeah, they do. Yeah. The Azorius are the feds.
Yeah.
The,
I would be in the Azorius for my day-to-day job. So.
Azorius are the feds.
They are.
They're the judicial branch.
So wait, does that mean like members of the Gruul call them the Federales? Like,
Yeah, probably.
Does that mean that Danny Trejo would be a Gruul?
Yes, he would. Let's be honest with one another.
Okay.
The Demir, they're more of a loose collection of organized criminals and spies, not as well organized as the Orzhov or anything like that. The Rakdos, they run circuses and restaurants and brothels, and they go around and murder people at night for fun.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not as much a job as it is a calling. Let's see what's next. Red.
The
Black,
Gruul.
Red Gruul. Yeah, the Gruul. I think back in the day they were supposed to be the stewards of the wild places in Ravnica, but there aren't very many of those anymore. So now they're just kind of a bunch of roving street gangs that get angry and break stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think they want to return Ravnica back to where the natural state it used to be.
Yeah.
So
the Celestia are more like they manage the public gardens, the parks, and everything, and they're also a hippie commune. The Orzhov are a mafia church.
that is the best 2-word description I've ever heard.
Yes, they are. So they're an organized crime. They have this veneer of religion covering for them. They also have a lot of accomplished lawyers in their ranks.
True.
Teysa is a very accomplished lawyer among the Orzhov.
Yeah.
Well, of course, the Mafia, of course, has good lawyers, and actually, so does the church, now that I think about it. Huh.
Yeah.
Golgari?
The Golgari are farmers. A lot of them are farmers, and they also manage.
They're farmers.
Also manage like the undercity, like sewage and waste disposal.
They're farmers and waste
garbage
management.
men. Yes.
Yeah.
Farmers and waste management.
Which makes you think about where you're getting your vegetables from.
Mm-hmm.
But
Soil
fertilizer.
green.
So
yeah. The Izzets are scientists. They're magical and physical researchers, and they're also involved in public works to some extent.
Yeah, like hydraulic.
Yeah, like water and electricity and fire. Even if you didn't necessarily want fire.
Oh, dear
pipe you
Lord!
some.
Now I'm thinking about being at Home Depot and seeing a toilet and it has the Izzet brand on it, and I'm like, do I get it?
And then you just go, oh, do I really want this?
I mean, this might work really well, or it might
blow up my house.
The Simic are biological scientists, and they're also involved in the city's food chain. That's not what I meant to say there, but that's the only word I can come up with. So it's not just the Golgari that supply stuff like that, but the Simic work on projects like that too, here and there.
Yeah,
and that's the
they,
one
they,
I
and they
would
also
fall
have.
into.
My understanding is the Simic also do some of the medical, like hospitals and things like that.
Yes, that's right. Mm-hmm.
I don't think I want to go to a Simic hospital.
Go in and come be like, well,
you don't want a sweet crab arm?
The doctor comes in and says, I think I know what's wrong with you. Not enough shark.
Not enough shark.
Is that the name of the episode? Not enough shark.
Not enough shark.
It's close.
Okay.
What am I missing here?
Is that everybody?
Boros.
Oh,
No,
Boro.
the Boros. The Boros. They're. It's kind of like a cross between the National Guard and the police.
Yeah, it's the army cops.
Yeah. There you go. The army cops.
You got your gang, you got your mafia church, and you got your army cops.
Mm-hmm.
But not
I
like
feel
the
like I'm
military
getting
Little
police.
shark head.
Is that everybody? Is that all the guilds?
It might be. I'm not sure.
Okay.
At most,
So-
I'm missing one, but whatever. People get the point.
Yeah. So.
But not everyone in Ravnica does jobs like that. Like one of the
Right.
stories was about a dock worker who became an unwitting Demir agent. You know, but otherwise he was just a dock worker.
Was he? Now the question I had from that story was he? Did he become an unwitting Demir agent, or was he a Demir agent that was placed at the docks?
Maybe I'm forgetting. Maybe
That's
you're
okay.
right.
That's all right. That's okay. I'm not here to argue technicalities.
He was an agent, but I don't know if he was necessarily gilded. That was hard to tell. Maybe that story was a bad example.
But I know I'm actually I wanted to segue into that a little bit because, as I've said, we've got these stories now that are giving us a lot of a more interesting perspective into the daily lives of Ravnica citizens. That first story of the Demir agent goes to show you that just because you're in a guild does not necessarily, if you're in the Demir, it does not mean you're Lazov, or Lazov. Your life can still suck because this guy
Yeah.
he can't make the rent. His wife is upset with him because he's buying moldy. He can't even afford to buy moldy food. Their one kid is driving her crazy, and their baby is like wah, and they can't afford their apartment. And his boss is haranguing him all the time. So just because you are this elite Demir agent, which you may not even be elite, just because you're a Demir agent does not mean your whole life is just like a James Bond movie. People,
Mhm.
still got to get by. You still got to get the mechanics. You still got to take care of your family. You still got to put bread on the table. And it's not this glamorous place. It's got, I think the city.
I just
Go
remember
ahead.
the Demir also run like messenger services too. They do
Yes.
have some job-like functions in the
I
city.
think
Yeah.
I think information is their key, where it's trading, observing, spying on people, but also acting as messengers. So their whole thing is information.
Mhm.
If they had a news outlet, it might be the Demir Network.
All the news you didn't know anyone was watching you to collect.
I feel like I should make a fake news joke, and I'm just gonna leave it alone. I'm just gonna leave it alone. um. So where was I going with this? So oh yeah, so the city, almost as an analogy, a lot of cities that we think of, there's this push toward beautification and what's it called? Not geriatrics.
Gerrymandering.
Not gerrymandering either.
Well, then what were you trying to say?
The phrase for when you're basically taking low income areas and
Gentrification.
thank you. He got it. Gentrification. So, and that's a big thing in a lot of cities now. So you're basically kind of covering up some of the seedier areas, and you're kind of saying, look at our look at our high rises, look at our upscale apartments and new shopping complexes, and you see some of that when you see Ravnica. And to some of the citizens of Ravnica, what's being presented is the noble Boros protecting us, the lofty Azorius that are doling out justice. But then once you're actually there, once you're on 10th Street, once you're just trying to walk to work and avoid getting pushed around by the gruel, you see that there are ghettos and there are aspects of life there that are very dirty and dusty and low income and living paycheck to paycheck that are not glamorous at all. And it's an interesting plane to start with and to look at because you don't have Eldrazi running around. You don't have, while there are vampires here, it doesn't seem like, you go to sleep the way you do in Innistrad, spoiler alert, afraid that may, that some horror is going to creep into your room or reanimate a zombie and kill you. It's more just closer to maybe what we might expect from our daily lives. just
Mhm.
with some magic thrown in.
Yeah, I agree. Ravnica is probably one of the planes that would be most recognizable to um, a modern day American who lives in a big city. A place with some seedier sections like a Baltimore or an Atlanta or a New York or a
Detroit.
Nashville. Yeah, Detroit. Detroit's up there.
Would Detroit just be like the Orzhov and Demir controlled section of a big city?
I don't know.
Wouldn't that be Chicago?
That's what I meant. Yeah. Was I saying Detroit?
You
Yeah,
were saying
Detroit might
Detroit
be
over and
more.
over again.
Detroit might be more gruel depending on how many areas of the city are still kind of abandoned right now. I
Oh,
don't know about that.
yeah, that's true.
Well, maybe they could get Eminem to do it.
Maybe.
All right. So didn't really know how long we wanted this discussion to go, how in depth. But again, the average citizen on Ravnica is maybe not worried about his world blowing up. What Nicol Bolas has in
Well.
store for Ravnica may change the dynamic there. It is known right now that there's this kind of cold war going on between the guilds, where the guilds have never been completely comfortable with each other. That's just been part of their history since the guild pact was formed. Was they're all trying to get one up on each other, but what we're being told through the lore and the way they're setting up these blocks is that it's getting worse, and Nicol Bolas is getting ready to exert his influence over the plane. But for the most part, if you're living in the city, working for the man every night and day, and you're not worried necessarily about global conflicts as you are, you got your job, you got your boss, you're trying to get into a guild or you're stuck in a guild, that sort of thing. Does anyone else have any comments about Ravnica, the citizens thereof? Or do you want to focus more on something else? Do you feel like I've missed something, or do we want to move to another plane?
I think maybe as we've been talking about it, maybe one of the reasons people love Ravnica so much is because it's so relatable to like real Earth life with the way it's set up and the type of people you see and the type of themes you see in events and
That
whatnot.
could def-
You
that
get
could
it.
definitely that could definitely be the case. It's not as easy to relate, say, to let's say
Like Tarkir.
Tarkir. That's actually what I was trying to think of. Either pre or post time warp shenanigans. It's not, but especially I think once it became Dragonland USA, it's not it's not as relatable for us.
Has that
Yeah.
Dragonland USA opened up in, where was that, Georgia? Has it opened up yet?
Can't tell if he's being
I
serious.
haven't been keeping up with the news.
Okay.
I was not being serious, no.
Okay, you were doing it really well, so I really couldn't.
Thank
really
you,
couldn't
thank you.
tell.
But yeah, I agree. I think that, and this was something said in the Discord server earlier, actually. By the way, everyone should totally go join the Manipool Discord server if you have Discord. But is that it's the closest to real life. Like, it has its fantastical elements, and it's not modern by any stretch, but it's the closest that Magic gets to what we're used to.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because while they might not have, the internet and television, they've got magical close enoughs.
Oh yeah.
Magical close enoughs. I like that.
So as a point of comparison,
Wait,
let's
what are some of the problems with living on Ravnica? Other than Nicol Bolas might be out to destroy your plane, other than that.
it doesn't seem while if you're a guild member, for the most part, you're probably happy to have the safety and security of that guild. Even being in that guild, as we've seen, does not necessarily mean you lead a cushy life. So I think it's interesting. The whole inherent system of the guilds can be an issue for a lot of people because you're either not.
It's sort of a caste system.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You're
There's still dangerous jobs in each guild. Like if you're a Boros beat cop, that's a dangerous job.
Yeah.
Oh, God, Stark.
If you
Stark
are,
Maximum said guild feuds for sure are one of the problems. All I want to do is head down a few blocks and get some milk, but the damn Boros and Rakdos broke out into another fight on the street, and now I have to go the long way.
yeah.
Yeah, that happens.
And then even if you are in a guild, it's your job, and we know that not everybody loves their job, and most people, even if they really enjoy their job, don't love it all the time. You might have a boss that is, just riding you and doesn't appreciate what you're doing. And
I told you needed to attach 5 shark heads today. You only did 4.
and
You're
it's
fired.
It's funny that Dirk mentions that because I was gonna say, like, if you're getting to be a big problem for your Simic, supervisor, he might just volunteer you for a experiment or as a test subject. Or guess what? You're not making quota, so you're gonna be a donor.
But you get this neat crab arm. Huh? Huh? Think of it as a bonus, because you're not getting a bonus.
I think what I'm thinking about the crab himself. They need to get that crab arm from somewhere. So, and then don't even get me started on debts to the Orzhov, because that's a problem.
Damn it, Stark. You'll like this crab arm. It's free. But no, I meant the like some of the less humdrum dangers and some of the more fantastical dangers.
Yeah, rent, trying to provide for your family.
No. More fantastical danger.
He wants us to talk about more fantastical dangers.
I misunderstood. I thought you meant. I
Yeah.
apologize.
Yeah, like on Innistrad, werewolves. Okay, damn.
Yeah.
So what happens on Ravnica that's not just, job?
Well,
So I like the example of Rumbling Slum. I think the story behind it is that the Orzhov needed to clear out the place, so they just animated the buildings and sent them wandering off into the wastelands where the Gruul live. And the Gruul took the animated slum under their wing and taught it to be mad and sent it back into the city to break stuff. So
yeah.
Okay,
that's
a
not your
giant
everyday.
animated city block coming and wrecking your city block.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
That's bad. Yeah.
That's a problem.
There was that time when none of the dead actually, when the spirits of the dead wouldn't go on somewhere. I bet that was annoying.
That's a big problem. When the Nephilim showed up and were eating dragon blood and grew to be like skyscraper size, and Rakdos was like, "Hey, that's cool." So he drank some dragon blood, so he became skyscraper size. These would fall.
And then he killed Mike.
I would fall once again. It kind of comes back to the guilds, but unlike the smaller issues, the day to day that I was talking about, I would put this under 2 major categories when it comes to the guilds: intentional guild feuds, where they have caused or been planning some kind of major plot for some time and are now at war with the other guilds, like what happened in the original Ravnica cycle. And every guild that had been planning and had all these contingency plans for when the guild pack broke apart finally just literally almost went to war. And then what I would say, what we kind of touched on, are the inadvertent mistakes or byproducts of the guilds. Like, say an scientist is conducting an experiment and it doesn't go well, but not on the small scale, like they set fire to their lab, but they cause all the water in the city to evaporate. That would be a large scale problem.
That's gonna play hell on the pressure in the pipes too.
Yeah.
Yes.
And ever since the end of the Return to Ravnica cycle, because there was not a document guild pact in place, now we've got Jace.
Yeah, which,
Mr.
as chat is pointing out, never sticks around to do his freaking job.
Yeah. I don't. Side note, I really don't get this direction with the story unless they're going to be tying it in somehow with Nicol Bolas's master plot, because they went through all of this effort to make Jace the guild pack, and he's never there at all. He has to be everywhere else because you also 3 sets later, made him a founding member of the Gatewatch, which their whole thing is be on the lookout for bad things, which invariably means you gotta move around. So
Mhm.
I don't get it. It feels almost like they didn't realize what they were gonna do with this guy. So, but anyway, that's getting awfully like outside the box. Inside the box that is Ravnica, you know, if your central authority figure is this guy, and you have been told all the disputes between the guilds are going to be settled by him, and he's never there. Wow, this is hitting a little too close to home. Gee, bureaucracy that doesn't work, and the central figure doesn't want to take responsibility for the greater issues. Chill went up my spine.
So yeah, while living on Ravnica might be the closest we have to normal experience, the closest we can get to our normal experience, it's still not, hunky dory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see how things progress with Mr. Bolus and his plans for the future, because I don't think he's gonna come in and give a big speech and say, "I'm gonna make Ravnica, a shining city," and I don't think he's there for beautification purposes.
Gonna get
Make
those
a
Murga
Ravnica
hats.
great again.
Traitor to mortal. All right. Okay, so now let's go in a completely opposite direction. Let's look at Innistrad, because whereas Ravnica is relatable, and there may be parts of Innistrad that are relatable, I don't think waking up in the morning and having a tentacle growing out of my arm because a cosmic horror being decided to move into the neighborhood is something I really worry
Okay,
about.
well maybe save that part of Ravnica of Innistrad for a minute. Let's hit the baseline Innistrad first.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and that's because we had this major event there.
so
It's
baseline
well,
Innistrad is like what century Europe?
17th,
17. 18.
18th century. I'm always bad about. I hear 20th century and I go, oh, I'm
2000. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, 18th century, 19th tops.
I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah,
See, I'm thinking 16th century.
Yeah, I was thinking
Because
15
they don't
or
have
16.
because they're not really any. Do they have guns?
They don't have. I never saw any black powder or anything.
This would be like directly before the Industrial Revolution, but it's not like a long way off.
Yeah,
See, I'm thinking more like Renaissance.
Okay, it's not that far
Late
back.
late Renaissance.
Yeah, okay.
I can go with that.
This is like no, there were guns then. I was
Well, it's
thinking
like-
this is like the
This would be
setting
like
of
this
Bram
period with no
Stoker's.
guns.
Yeah, this is like the setting of Bram Stoker's Dracula,
There you go. There you go.
except before anyone could shoot somebody.
Yeah.
Did they have guns in that
It's-
in Dracula? I've never actually read Dracula. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's very close to Dracula and Frankenstein era, and I think that there are deliberate steps taken to avoid having guns. So even if the society and the technology was otherwise in a place where that would be a likely innovation, we're not going to see it here. So
Oh wow, Dracula is set in the 1800s. Okay, way before that then.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Shortly before the American Revolution, but again with no guns. So 18th century, 17th century, sometime around.
Yeah. 16, 17, 18 with no black powder technology. Just imagine
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
So
But very
And-
clearly Europe.
Yes.
So, and if you're a citizen in Thraben, you probably have a job. Much like in Ravnica, you are probably worried about your job. However, you are also afraid
Of
that
everything. Oh, I mean, sorry.
Mhm.
you are afraid of lots of things. You're afraid that your neighbor might be a werewolf. Conversely, you might be afraid that your neighbor is going to Salem witch style accuse you of being werewolf. Being
Or,
werewolf.
to go even further, you might be afraid that your neighbor has figured out that you're a
That
werewolf.
you're a werewolf. Yeah.
Do you see where we're going with this?
Yeah. So I would say there are two major areas of concern on Innistrad, pre Emrakul and all that. You got the monsters and the church, and because the church is really the central authority in on Innistrad, while that is a good thing in that it provides some security, some benefit. They train a lot of the monster hunters and are they organize a lot of those things, but at the same time, as we have seen, any organization can be corrupted on various levels, and there's always that potential for, as Mike said with the guilds, a caste system. So you might feel like you're being somewhat oppressed by it. And then there's the whole thing. I think werewolves are very special uh, because of their status, where they are human part of the time and monster part of the time. They have a very special niche here that they fill, where you might be afraid, as Chewie said, that someone finds out that you are a werewolf. But for the most part, otherwise, you're either a monster or you're not. Because if you're a vampire, you're not worried that someone's going to figure out you're a vampire. You're, especially on Innistrad, you're a vampire.
Yeah, they flaunt it very
They
openly.
flaunt it. They don't have a
Mhm.
shirt. So, why would they have a shirt? Sorry. That's an old Twilight joke. Um,
Well, I mean, they don't.
they
Like they
don't.
do. They do walk around less dressed than living people because they
Yeah.
don't feel the cold.
Right. No, that's something you see on the card. So yeah, you don't. If you're a vampire, you're not worried that people are going to figure it out because, first of all, as it's a status thing, you're going to be like, "Hey, look at me." But second of all, you couldn't hide it if you wanted to.
Yeah, and
So
as we said on our vampire episode on Innistrad, it's not like you're a human who's infected. No, it's a separate race of people. You're a vampire.
But people can be turned.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Wait, what am I
Isn't
thinking?
that what
of?
all the bite jokes, all the bite cards and everything
I'm
were?
thinking of Zendikar.
you are thinking of Zendikar
You're
Excuse
thinking of
me.
Zendikar, yes.
because of
Yeah, my
like
bad.
the shoulder pads and whatnot.
I think the Zendikar vampires can also turn people if they do it a certain way, but otherwise people get flipped into nulls. But we'll get to that eventually.
Yeah, I hate it when that happens.
So yeah. So you might be afraid of being accused by the church of being something you're not, of being something maybe that you are if you're a werewolf. You might feel oppressed by the church. You might feel blessed by the church. And then you're also afraid of monsters. Because how many breeds of monsters are there on Innistrad? Lots, and they're
All?
probably discovering new ones every day. You too could find yourself bitten by something that nobody's ever seen before. Uh, it's a serious issue. Werewolves are everywhere, and you don't know who they are when they're not turned. They may or may not know right away. It's never expressly stated how someone turns into a werewolf on Innistrad. Have you noticed this? Because there's never anything said about a werewolf bite being necessary.
I thought that was part of Arlen Cord's story. That she got scratched or bitten or however else cursed in a fight with a werewolf.
I'd have to go back and read it, but I thought that on Innistrad it was interesting because it was not linked to any particular affliction. But I'd have to go back and bone up on that. I don't want
I
to say
think I
too
think
much
it is. I think it is. It's just not something that's touched on hardly ever.
because they don't make a big deal out of like, oh look, I
Yeah,
was scratched
because
today.
that's hard to do mechanically in the game since you can't turn a single face card into a double faced card.
Flip this over. Wait, what? And then take a marker, drawing a really nifty looking werewolf. Give it some, put the light in its eyes. So, but there's all sorts of terrible things. The vampires run roughshod over whoever they want, drink whatever they want, especially the aristocracy, the aristocrats. Run roughshod over whoever they want. Spirits are a big issue, and that's its own thing. Hell is a literal place on Innistrad, and when you die, you don't really go there because you're probably a ghost. The people want what they call the blessed sleep. That's the goal. Is when you die, you just don't wake up.
Yeah.
That's kind of
you stay in the ground and you don't come back to bother anybody.
that's when that's your best case scenario. That's pretty grim. I would almost call it grim dark, because that's heavy stuff. Because there's a very real chance you're gonna come back as a ghost, and while spirits seem to be a little more venerated than some of the other creatures on Innistrad, I still don't think it's not something that anybody really wants to happen. And the hell that I talked about is literally giant cracks in the earth that devils come out of. So
Whoops.
when if you're a bad person, when you die, you might still turn into a ghost. But when someone tells you, go to hell, they're like literally pointing at that crack over there, and you're like, I don't want because there's a Tybalt over there, and
And just nobody wants to fool with that.
yeah. So
There are also mad scientists
yep,
Yes.
and zombies of two flavors. You've got your necromantic normal, George Romero zombies, and then you've got your science-induced Frankenstein's monster style zombies.
yep,
Just don't forget those. And as chat pointed out earlier, there's the Gitrog monster.
Yes.
yep.
That's one of those unique monsters that Brian mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of that. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff. We hit the main ones, but there's still a ton of things. And while a lot of some of the spirits, like the Geist of Saint Traft, are beneficial, and there are angels, there are also a lot of spirits that are malicious and tricksters, like the Dungeon Geists. So, yeah.
So
it's like living in a horror movie.
it is living in a horror movie, like an old Universal horror movie.
Yeah.
Actually, it's like living in all the old Universal horror movies. But now we're focusing on the dangers, but this is normal life.
Yeah.
For these people. Like if we were to get dropped there, well, we would die. But straight up. But these people have grown up there and lived there, so it's not like their every living moment is in danger. And if it is, even if it is, they know how to deal with it. Has anyone ever read Astro City?
No.
Okay, well, anyone listening, if you've read Astro City, in the miniseries, the original issue number 4, is a book called Safeguards. And it's about a girl who lives up on Shadow Hill, which is the creepy, like, mystical... People that live in the normal parts of Astro City won't go up there. It's like the old part of town. And a girl that lives there has a job down in the city. And, like, just real quick, she's talking about getting up in the morning. I talk with Mama as I check the wolf's bane in the window catches, freshening it where needed. I tap my crucifix to reassure myself it's there. I kiss Mama and wish a good day for her. I say the words and open the door. A good oak door with ash in the frame. And the sign of... twos? I don't know what that is. In brass. I walk along our cobbled streets as shutters are thrown open to sun and bustle of the day begins. The lesser night creatures still crouch in the shadows, muttering and snarling softly. I pay them no mind, guarded as I am. They cannot approach me, and in minutes they'll have retreated fully before the sun. Like, this is her normal routine.
Right. Yeah. And I realize, yes, it sounds like we're spending a whole lot of time on the horse, and the people that live there, as you said, they're used to that sort of thing. They've adapted to it. I just think that it's important to mention it because it does inform so much of their daily lives. You can't so much of their society, the prevalence of the church, things like that, is because they have these things they have to deal with and contend with. It's like living in Australia. You don't ignore the spiders. What are you gonna say, Mike?
I was going to say that Chewy brought up a very good point with regards to, people know how to deal with this already, and they have their routines and they have their precautions. One of the big points of conflict in the original Innistrad storyline was that all that stuff, the magic and all that stuff people would do to protect themselves and deal with the monsters, was starting to wear off, and no one knew why. And we didn't find out until much later that Avacyn got trapped inside the Hell Vault. Oops. Um,
Yeah, it'd be like,
and that's why the magic was wearing off.
what if in today's society, like all of a sudden, all the alarm systems just stopped functioning?
Yeah.
What if like electricity or like cell phone signals got weaker and we were unable to communicate with each other electronically or through over distances? If all
Yeah.
the electricity seemed to be like getting weaker and all that, that's
If
essentially
we
what's
were
happening.
losing the internet,
Yeah.
Ah!
Imagine how crazy that would be for people and how mind-boggling uh bonkers that would be, and how you know
how crazy it would be.
unsettling that would be for them.
Hmm.
Also, real quick, I want to thank Keeper Boy and Shideki Gun Mike Okahara, damn it,
Gunago?
for the subs.
Gunamo?
Yay, new subscribers.
So you have this environment where you've got all these monsters. You've got this church that's trying to protect everybody. As of the time of the original Innistrad, those wards are starting to fail. As we know, the Hell Vault is destroyed, and things get better for a while because Avacyn's back, and then all of a sudden, oh no, Emrakul, and things get worse for a while. But what is your daily routine like? I think it involves, especially if you're anywhere near a major civilization like Thraben, it involves church. Just because, as we've mentioned, that's basically the overriding, that's the major government, as far as I can, of the plane. And, people believed that praying to Avacyn would keep them safe, especially since, in a very real sense, the blessings of Avacyn would keep you safe. It's not necessarily placing faith in a deity or figure that you may or may not realize is there, and you kind of hope the prayers reach them. You pray to Avacyn with an Avacyn collar, and your little thing lights up, and you're like, okay, great. This is a tangible benefit to this. So, going to church, paying tithes to the church is probably something you do on a pretty regular basis, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I would also say that there's you can see in there the things like mobs, things like you got the people. No one there probably does not have an extra job. That they're security, they're guardsmen, they're doing something. You got your normal day job, you're like working the market or something like that, but you probably have a job in being like part of the militia or something of
The
that in
city
terms of the
watch
town.
or something. That's
Right,
a really
your job. No one is just you do your job and then you go home, go to bed, and all that. It's you've got something else that you do in order to ensure that everybody's safe, that the family's safe, and all that.
Yeah, and you might have a night watch shipped up on the wall once or twice a week. Yeah.
Dirk, I think that's an excellent, excellent, excellent point. I gotta ask you, when you were putting your character together for the RPG, because he came from Innistrad, how much of what you're talking about is based off of stuff you looked up to make that character? Because it sounds,
Well, there's a different things that go with is that you're in a society where there's danger everywhere, so that means that you have to be. I would imagine that with the fear of werewolves and all of that sort of stuff going on, that everyone sort of know, even the women and the children all know either they either have like a cellar, they have some place where there's like the safe place. They all know how to either shoot a weapon or load a weapon or have some sort of proficiency with something with regards to it, because you just can't be a bystander on a plane like that with the potential dangers going on all the time.
So that's an excellent observation. So you might
And
be
I
a
would
farmer during the day,
that-
and then you're on what wall manning the wall duty later.
And I would imagine that with you having a church-related society and the dangers going on, that everyone probably knows everybody.
Yes.
That this is one where I haven't, we'll wake up, all right, we'll go check and make sure neighbor John is, if he needs any help with anything, check and make sure he's okay, go and do, like, that everyone checks in on each other, and they're very knit. And so when something does go wrong, someone gets hurt, that probably does have a big effect on their society.
Well, and I think part of that too, the flip side to that is, while everyone is very close knit, and that can be a positive thing, it can also be negative in that it can breed paranoia. If you're a close knit society and you have travelers coming in, any traveler is a potential werewolf or something horrible we haven't seen before.
Never seen you around these parts before.
You got it. And there's probably a healthy dose of paranoia. I'm sure some places are more open and welcoming to others, than others. But for the most part, you're probably going to be treated as you're not one of us, and we've been missing some sheep and children lately. Let's run you out of here. Or,
Witch, burn her.
Yeah. Well, I mean, really.
In terms of what I would imagine, in terms of like the worst case scenario of what I could say, have you guys watched the Netflix Castlevania series?
Yes.
Yeah.
I finished.
That's sort of what I imagine the worst case scenario of things being, is you don't go out at night, and if something happens, more than likely, there are people who just disappear.
I finished season 2 yesterday.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh, if you haven't had the chance, you need to go watch it.
Dang it, man! Come over and watch it again.
I started watching. I saw season 1 when it came out. I started watching season 2 yesterday because I kind of forgot that it had come out, and I was like, I'm going to watch an episode or two, and then I looked at the clock because they just move along really well, and I was halfway through, and I was like, well, I got to go to bed, so I finished the rest of it today. Or yesterday, I don't know. I finished it quickly.
Not that it matters. Also,
yes.
Speaking of werewolves, thank you, Vulpus V, for the sub. Isn't Vulpine? Is that wolf or is that
fox?
That's fox. Oh well, different kind of were animal then. Fine.
That'd be a werefox. That could be cool. Anyway,
so that's baseline Innistrad.
Yeah.
Here lately, Innistrad sort of had horrible things happen.
Yeah.
Did we talk about the different regions of Ravnica and Innistrad? Because you've got the city, but there's like the swampy areas and stuff of that sort too, or like the forests.
We didn't go completely into every single section.
So Ravnica is all city, but Innistrad, it's more like your standard, pre-industrial European countryside. There are cities here and there separated by, woods and open plains and rivers and swamps and mountains and things like that.
Whoa.
People live in the cities. Vampires mostly live in strongholds up in some of the mountains. There's a coastline. And there are fishermen and merchants who travel up and down the coast in their boats.
As opposed to traveling up and down the water, on their heads.
In their wheelbarrows, yeah.
In a car. Yeah. Motorboat.
I'm sorry, that's different. You were thinking it. You were thinking it.
I wasn't until. All right. Yeah. After Nahiri got out of the Hell Vault and decided that she walked over to Zendikar and saw the Titans messing things up because that was prior to the Gatewatch shutting them down. And she said, "Wow, I've been stuck in that giant rock for 10,000 years or something like that." And because Soren, an asshole. And while I've been stuck there, my place is being destroyed. You know what? I'm gonna go back to his place and I'm gonna wreck his plane because I'm upset. So she calls Emrakul to the plane and corrupts the angels. And now, because of Emrakul's effect on the plane where it's, I don't want to say residing, consuming is probably a better word. Um,
Nom nom nom.
she alters the biology of its living inhabitants in weird ways. Like the Simic, you kind of get what they're going for most of the time, whereas this is just like, hey, you needed another hand in the middle of your forehead if you're lucky, you know. So now she's stuck in the moon. Spoiler alert for a story that's been over for what, like 2 years now. It's kind of implied that she let it happen. So she being Emrakul. So there might be some reason that this may not go well for them in the long run. But
she didn't just let the Gatewatch win; she made the Gatewatch win.
Yeah, she's basically like, here's a manual on how to quote unquote beat me.
Oh, she hit the concede button. Got it.
And then she took over Tamio long enough to make Tamio cast the spell that she didn't want to cast.
Yeah,
so
and turned it into a different spell.
And turned it into a different spell in one of those scrolls that she swore that she would always keep sealed. It's bad mojo. Something's not right. But even if we can assume that because she's sealed in the moon, that she's not physically exerting an influence over the inhabitants now, question mark, because we don't know. There's still the people that were affected while she was out. So now your neighbor, who you're afraid might be a werewolf, might have an extra hand in the middle of their forehead, just as an example. That horse that's amazing may be a really weird, grotesque horse, and
that horse is amazing.
And I gotta think that if we fixate on the day-to-day lives, the church is also in some disarray because Avacyn is gone. Some of the people that were basically thrown under the bus, like Thalia, that the church was just trying to say, "Oh, this is all your fault," have kind of rallied the people together. So the church is probably not the stabilizing influence that it once was.
Yeah.
So you're not going to have the same level of respect for it that existed before. Although, as we've seen in our own society, sometimes people are so committed to a faith or to a government that it doesn't matter what you show them, they're still going to be loyal because that's the church, and you're not some heretic, so you're still going to have some diehards, but you're probably more fractured than ever. And Avacyn isn't there, so the monster problem, even without Emrakul, is probably getting worse. Because remember that Soren made Avacyn as a way to keep the monsters in check, specifically so that humans would survive, so that his family and the vampires wouldn't run out of food. Pretty cold, but you get it. Avacyn's gone. Yeah. Monsters are probably, and the human civilization and society is shaken to its core, and its beliefs are fractured. The monsters are almost certainly gaining footholds they haven't in a long time.
Bruna is still there. I get the impression Bruna is taking the lead now that Avacyn is gone. Her sisters are gone too.
Yeah, I agree.
So there's
also,
something.
10th Tech Priest points out that the angels who you rely on to keep you safe once Emrakul showed up, have stopped being, well, angelic, as he puts it. So that'd be like the, I don't know, the police suddenly becoming untrustworthy. Maybe let's not poke that bear.
Well, you might see an increase in. Dirk mentioned, your the duality. You have your private function, and then you have your function, like in your society, trying to keep everyone safe. Those types of things are probably the people pulling together, the individuals pulling together are probably stronger now than they were before, in that they have seen these horrors, they have seen what happens to their families and their country, and they don't trust the church to take care of them anymore. They don't have the wards and things to fall back on. All they've got is their own sweat and blood to keep them safe, and the neighbor that's watching their back for them. So you might have some smaller communities that are pulling together more than they were before.
JD Phoenix corrected me. I got the angels' names mixed up. It's Sigarda. That's the one who's left.
Okay.
I messed that up. I was thinking of the right one, the white and green one, but I got the names mixed up. Sigarda.
Oh yeah, she did become the good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if you're an average citizen on Innistrad, you've grown up in a world with monsters, and then in the last X years, months, whatever the time frame is, you've seen brand new forms of monsters, and even some of your other citizens have mutated. You might have mutated just a little bit, like that kitten on that card, where it's oh so cute until you look at it and you're like you know the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, the one with the tail that has a mouth.
Yeah, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. So if you have survived the zombie apocalypse part 3, your life is probably your day-to-day life, your farming, your job is probably not that different than it was before, but how you treat the monster menace, how you treat the day-to-day survival, that while Chewy did say you've kind of grown up with that and you've gotten used to it, the changes that have happened in the last X years with Emrakul and all that have probably brought it more front and center. And without Avacyn there, things you took for granted as far as keeping you safe that aren't there anymore. So more and more, your safety is probably something that's in question and is going to inform more of the rest of your daily life.
Yeah, what he said.
You may not have as many, community events like an ice cream social. It's probably more like ice cream, everybody stay at home and lock your doors social.
Maybe you have an ice cream social at the community watch meeting.
At noon, and everybody's home by 4:00.
Well, the thing, unlike Ravnica, which is unfolding before us currently, Innistrad's one where, because we left it without any sort of resolution, we've been talking about the humans are sort of they're on the rope at this point. They're not gone, but they've been hit pretty hard with the Emrakul monsters that have been going around too. How are the werewolves? How are the vampires? How are all them dealing with their groups being affected as well? Because the only group that did not get horribly mutated in this was the zombies.
Yeah.
Which is why Liliana, the last hope, was able to actually put a dent in some of Emrakul's forces, is because Emrakul couldn't warp them. So,
but we've been talking about the humans have been hit. The other monsters have also been hit pretty bad too.
correct.
And even the angels got mutated.
Yeah.
In addition to this, so not everybody just sort of came out of this, peachy and going, ah ha ha, I won, sort of in this. everyone got hit hard, and so there probably is a little bit of trying to reestablish themselves on everybody's front. Except for the zombies. They're still out for the brains.
Oh, poor zombies. All we want to do is eat your brains.
What do we want?
Brains.
When do we want it?
Brains.
Brain.
Gotta wonder, though, if you're a zombie, you know, do you prefer pre-Emrakul brains or post, you know, hey, my brain has a bit of extra teeth in it kind of stuff?
Duh.
Just saying.
Al dente.
This horse used to taste amazing. Now,
Now it tastes like octopus because it's got tentacles on it.
Calamari.
It looked like a horse, except when I turned it over and there was a lot of stuff on it that made me go, I think I'll keep walking.
Anyway.
I think Chewie answered my question in the wrong chat window.
yeah.
Oh, whoops. I did.
Good job.
So, what else do we have for Innistrad?
Well, you don't
agree.
have, you don't have the guild structure or anything like that. Once again, a lot of it comes back to A, the monsters, and B, the church.
Yeah, you don't have like the capital G guild structure, but you would probably have, you know, a blacksmith guild or a
You're still gonna have
or something.
Substrata.
Yeah, you gotta have a silversmith.
Yeah, you gotta have a silversmith.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I think again, life for them has not. The day-to-day life is because they've always had monsters, as Chewie had pointed out. They've not had how to deal with these things for a long time. The only question is with the nature of the biology of the plane changing and the threats. Dirk pointed out that the monsters themselves have been affected as well, right? Except for zombies.
Yeah.
So
And
having
ghosts, I guess.
and goes having to adapt to new and exciting threats. Survival is more questionable than before. But
I think this will be a fun plane to come back to. I don't want them to come back to and like, oh, we're going to go back to Innistrad and pick up right where everything left off. I think it'd be interesting to see where the plane picks up maybe 10 years down the line to see how the recovery went.
Yeah, I agree.
Sort of like Dominaria, maybe.
I've enjoyed from the first time we've had Innistrad. I have enjoyed the setting. I've enjoyed the sets. I think they've been some of the more well-designed sets. If you recall, original Innistrad was really the beginning of this modern implementation of trying to do much more of a focus on top-down design and flavor.
Mm-hmm. And the flavor was awesome. The flavor has been some of the best in Magic with that set.
And really, we've seen a lot more of that lately, and a lot of it is because of the success of Innistrad Block. So, I agree. I think this would be a really interesting one. One of the really interesting things, byproducts of having this discussion, which I did not foresee, and that's one of the reasons I love having these discussions with you guys, is we turn over stuff that I had never thought of, is how much of what's going on Innistrad is not really settled right now. We don't know. The Guild Pack basically thought they did a good job and said, okay, next, and left. And we don't know how much of the plane is still being affected. How badly are the monsters winning? Has there been a new society?
You meant the Gatewatch.
What'd I say?
Okay, you said you did the Guild Pact. We're like, we did a good enough job, and I'm going. Are we talking about Ravnica?
That one guy? No, I meant the Gatewatch. Sorry.
Okay.
So my point being that we don't know what it's like right now. We don't know, what the effect is, and it's a fun topic to consider.
What?
I'm sorry. What just popped into my head when Brian said that was, no one knows what it's like to be the wolf man.
So,
Be a
yeah.
man.
Well, now we had thought we might cover more of these, but we've actually gone really in depth. I mean, really in depth on Ravnica and Innistrad. I think this is something that we could.
Oh yeah, hey chat. Since you guys are here live, should we do another plane? We're not gonna get all 4 in tonight, just because of how long the first 2 went, which is good. Should we do another plane, or, which would probably be Theros, or should we do a Mad Lib? I will leave it up to chat, because I'm stupid. Because we have both of those. No, we didn't prepare anything. This is all just discussion.
Yeah.
What part of this discussion sounded like we were? Yeah. And certainly, if people have enjoyed this, I
oh yeah, we can totally do this again.
Yeah.
But given the time, I'm gonna leave it up to chat. Should we do Theros, or should we do a Mad Lib? Because Brian has one prepared.
I have one prepared, but if they really want to do a plane, I would say Theros would be the next one, and then the last one, that mysterious fourth one, we'll save for another time, along with some others. So.
Yeah, the original idea was, well, we'll just do all the planes real quick and another thing. Yeah, there's just no way. If we're gonna, and not to say this is not great, I'm glad we're going deep.
Yeah, oh yeah, this is way better.
Yeah, it's a lot more interesting.
Than here's a plane, pros and cons. Here's the next plane, pros and cons. Here's no, that's silly.
Yeah. Well, sometimes when we get to a topic like this, we never know until we get into it how much is there. How much are we gonna drag this out? So it's always an interesting experience to go over it and realize, hey, wait a minute, there's some depth here. So is there some kind of consensus?
It looks like the only people that have answered have said Mad Lib.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone else thus far is commenting on
which planes?
On the various other planes that we could do, yeah.
Well,
so should this be a chat Mad Lib? How does that work with a podcast? Didn't we do that once before?
We did it once before. It can be difficult sometimes because there is that delay.
Yeah, there's a little lag. There's going to be a lot of responses coming in at the same time.
So tell you what, why don't we go ahead and get started, and I'll ask for one card at a time, and I'll leave it up to you guys, the three of you. If you have an answer, you just want to go ahead and throw it out there, you go right ahead. If you want to watch the chat, you can go, well, let's see what they come up with this time, and you can pick one of those answers. But we're not going to wait every time for everybody in chat to have a say, because that will take an hour. So let's go ahead and get started and see how it goes. And if it feels like we're not giving them any kind of say, then we can make a point of saying, all right, we want the next one from chat or whatever. We'll let you guys figure it out.
As Brian immediately dies.
The end. This Mad Lib was called Brian Dies. I need an enchantment.
Ooh. The one that locks you in a tower until the handsome prince comes and saves you.
Oblivion Ring.
I always hated that as an enchantment name.
I was also trying to follow up on your joke, but
I don't think it worked.
I
get
need
locked up
a.
until the handsome prince saves you.
I need a step or phase of the turn that isn't
Mike's turn.
Mike's.
Chewie's turn.
Dark's turn.
Brian's turn.
Okay, so a couple people thought it was funny.
Yeah. I like Jars' suggestion, Presence of the Master. I was thinking about saying that, but I feel like I say that maybe slightly too often.
Yeah. It's not one that fits into Mad Libs terribly often.
No.
Anyway, what was the question?
Rakdos said draw step. So.
Oh, yeah, okay, do draw.
Okay, draw.
We were goofing off. Oh, ghostly prison or oubliette, or could be someone locked in a tower. Nice.
All right. I need a sorcery.
Well, you're old enough for your wants not to hurt you.
Army of the Damned.
That's a sorcery?
I hope it's a sorcery.
Jeez, if that was an instant.
No, I thought it was an enchantment. What's the enchantment that's a bunch of zombies coming to get you?
Oh,
the one with the stained
Endless
glass?
Ranks of the Dead.
Endless Ranks of the Dead. There we go. Okay.
That's the enchantment. Yeah.
Sorry.
But it's Army of the Damned that makes 13 zombies, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I need an aura.
Hey, Chad, give us an aura. While I play with this chip clip, I have got to put that away. Guard duty was the first one I saw.
Yeah.
Is that an aura?
It is.
Oh, yeah.
It's a really, it's a home run flavor design for what it does.
I need a non-creature permanent.
There's no such thing.
Let's see.
Oh, you said duty. Sorry.
Aeolipile.
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 How do you pronounce that?
Aeolipile.
Aeolipile?
Aeolipile.
Aeolipile.
Yes.
It's A-E-O.
No. I'm spelling it the way that I can pronounce it. So don't even start. Aeolipile. All right.
Aeolipile.
Hey.
I need a keyword.
Wait. Crap, I had one. Battle cry.
I think Stark actually got in there first with flanking.
Yeah, he beat you.
Curses. I couldn't think of its name. I could just see the art on the white battle cry one, the famous one.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember its name.
I need the name of...
Bladehold.
That's the one.
I need the name of a Magic the Gathering expansion set or product.
Booster pack. No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
That was a joke. Don't
Commander.
Well, no, that's a format.
No.
It's a product,
It's
too.
also they do commander decks.
Okay, I should be clear about what I'm exactly asking for.
Stark said Premium Deck Series Fire and Lightning.
He did. But Rakdos said, well, no. Let's go with Stark's. We've done a couple of Rakdoses.
Are you serious?
No. You've done exactly one of Rakdos's.
No, we did two.
Two? Really?
Yeah, we've done two.
His connection must be faster.
Premium Deck Series.
All right, Stark, you win.
I try not to pick and choose because then that takes away from the theme. But I don't also, no offense to Rakdos, but I also don't want it to be everybody else that's taking a second to think about it missing out.
Yeah.
So I need an instant or sorcery.
Boomerang. Whee.
Why is that not an equipment?
All right, let's specifically. I'll specifically ask this one for chat,
Oh God.
and I'm going to just take the very first one I see, no matter who it's from. So, giving it a second, I need a creature type. Goblin it is.
Rakdos is all up on it. Also named
yeah.
Sliver, Demon, Centaur, Brushwag, Dragon. Mike's turn. You see, listeners, this is why you need to come to see the show stream.
All right. Give me a zone of play.
Exile.
That's what I was gonna say.
I
Good
know.
Mhm.
That's where I got the idea.
Are we, just for the purposes of reading this, do we call it the exiled zone or do we just call it exile? Like in exile.
I mean,
Exile.
whichever one works best with how it reads, I guess.
Yeah, whichever
Well,
one
sometimes
sense.
these don't. Sometimes it doesn't matter how I read it; it's not going to work. But I just wanted to. All right, give me an aura.
It's a dumb old card that I can't remember the name of.
Ooh, what's it do?
Derp Attack wrote Ranko, and I think he meant Rancor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
was
think
thinking.
I think he tried to get somebody tried to say Rancor earlier.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Go ahead and take that one. Now,
Mhm.
there's a. Is it called Soul Kiss? It's from Ice Age. It costs 2 and a black, and the enchanted creature gets an ability where you can pay 1 black and 1 life to give it +2.
+2/+2. That is Soul
And you can
Kiss.
only
yeah.
activate that 3 times.
It's
a
either
turn
Soul
something
Kiss
like
or
that.
Soul's Kiss.
Yeah.
It's one of those. I will look
Okay.
it up.
while he's looking that up quickly, so he can't answer, I need a creature.
Okay, it is Soul
Mesmodic slime.
Okay.
Kiss. Which one?
What was that?
I was thinking it's one of the slimes.
But what was the first word you said?
Mesmonic or
Mesmonic?
What?
what was one of the I was trying to think of one of the slimes.
Mitotic.
Mitotic.
That's what.
Okay.
I was like, is there a mesmeric slime? No, there's not. Oh, mitotic. Yeah, there it is.
I'm gonna give that to Dark because he got it in first. He was trying
Mispronounced
to.
it pretty bad.
Yeah.
Of all the
badly.
people on this show, you should know the word mitotic.
Well, you know.
Look, he's not at work.
The problem is that I haven't seen the card in forever.
All right, give me. Let's turn to chat. Give me a. I see that they're typing things. I want to give people just a second. Give me.
I'm sorry, Stark was like, I mean, he got it in first, but he got it in by going, slime. And he
All right.
said it, I was talking over him.
Okay. I need a sorcery.
slime.
That would be fire.
All right. We got char.
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 Is char not an instant?
No, it's an instant. Oh wait, whoops.
Oh.
It is an instant. Okay, so that's an invalid response. So Stark says.
Stark said, Bon Refiore.
Okay.
Welcome
wait.
to my world,
So
Stark.
Tech Priest said char, but char's an instant, right? So then
Yes.
Stark says,
Banefire.
"That's supposed to be Banefire."
Yeah.
It's supposed to be Banefire.
Although I kind of like, I would cast Bon Refiore.
Banefire.
Go to Scryfall and see if that's the name of it in Italian or something. It is not.
They are having entirely too much fun with this.
We really are.
All right. I need
Oh,
an
dude.
ability. I need an ability word.
Okay, fine. Monstrosity. Is that an ability word?
No, that's a keyword. Yeah, that's a keyword.
Is sweep?
Sweep is an ability word.
Yes, it is sweep.
Sweep it is then. Thank you.
Who was that? Stark. Dude, in Spanish, Banefire is Fuego Devastador. Ooh, that's hot.
Huh.
Literally.
In French, it's Pestifeu. I don't know French. In German, it's Bonfire for fire. Feuer, which is fire, I think. Nice. Fuoco di Sventura in Italian. Damn! Banefire's got badass names in other languages.
All right. Let's keep moving because, I don't want Dirk to fall asleep. We're about halfway there.
Wake your ass up.
I need an artifact.
Oh, dang it, I already used the old pile.
Yes, you did.
The rack.
Ooh.
Oh, dear Lord. Oh, God, what have you done?
Also named in chat was a wheel pile. And shop ring.
Okay. I was not looking. I didn't see what came in the rack or Cauldron of Souls first, but I've already written down rack. So
Yeah, go with
all
that.
right. All right. Now I need a keyword.
What did I just say?
Monstrosity.
Yeah.
Okay. Monstrosity. I need a format.
Booster draft.
Okay. Chat.
Oh God. Sorry, reflex.
I need a zone.
Yeah, chat.
Okay, so our first legit answer seems to be command.
Yeah, is the command zone.
Starcom Exum said, Grizzlebrand. That's what's got us tickled, I think.
Well, I also like Tech Priest suggesting the Twilight.
The Twilight Zone is good, yeah.
Is there an anti-zone?
Yes, technically.
There is. Wow. Okay.
Well, those cards got to go somewhere.
Yeah. All right. I need an incarnation creature. Rakdos says filth.
Yeah.
That didn't have to be from chat, but I need. Last time I asked this, I asked of the chat. So maybe one of you guys give me a creature type.
Go cleric.
I also just asked this of the chat. So you guys, somebody give me a zone.
Another zone?
Yes.
Are there any other zones? We covered Exile and Command.
The hand. Hand is a zone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I was thinking auto.
All right.
Come go to the zone.
Go agrees with you, Dirk.
All right. This goes out to anybody. I need an ability word or a keyword.
Cycling?
Ah.
All right.
Green Hill Zone. Shut up.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. All right. Let's see. Chat. we're coming down to the end here. Chat. I would like a.
Did Brian just blink out?
I asked for a land.
Oh,
Yeah,
all we
I
heard
heard
was
him.
a.
I heard
Sorry.
land. Okay, so if Chewie heard that, that means everyone heard that.
Yeah.
Since you're streaming.
Dark
So there's
depths.
a dark depths. Yeah.
All right, anybody? I need an artifact.
Shop ring. He's tried it twice. He means soul ring. But he keeps either being late or typing the wrong thing. So go with that.
Okay.
I beat you to it, Faye.
All right. I need an enchantment. Looks like
Yeah. Then Justin says chains.
he got to that fast. He was ready to go with that. I wonder if he typed that out and
It was just waiting
for me to say enchantment. Because especially with the delay, I looked up and I'm like, wait, what?
Now we wait while Brian writes it down.
At least enough to pronounce it.
Chains of Mephistopheles.
All right. I need a creature.
Hero of Bladehold.
Hey.
Hey.
All right, let's see. Got 3 left. We're almost there. I need another incarnation creature.
With vigor.
Vigor.
Chains of Banre Fiore.
I need a sorcery.
Or someone in chat was trying to say ponder earlier. I'll throw that in for them.
Oh, dear Lord. How do you pronounce that?
Ponder. Oh, yokel helps.
Yeah. Yes.
So screw you, Mike. In other words.
Dang it.
All right, and since this is the last one, let's give it up to chat. So give it just a second to clear out. Make sure everybody gets their fingers ready. Sorry, didn't mean for that to sound dirty. Or did I? I need a black enchantment. Greed for the win. Rakdos was
nice.
on point. All right. This lib is called Holla.
Holla?
I am not gonna make it through this. I'm telling you right now, some of this is some of the best stuff I've ever seen you guys produce. Don't you just oblivion ring this time of the draw step? We are Army of the Damning, one of the most guard-dutied holidays. That's right. It's time for Aeolipile Night.
I love Aeolipile Night!
This holiday can be flanked back to ancient times before. That's the type of ancient times. Even before. Hold on.
Did you not write the sentence correctly?
No, I forgot what PSD stood for.
It's a Photoshop file.
Premium, even before Premium Deck
Premium
Series,
Deck Series
Fire and Lightning. All right, so this holiday can be flanking back to ancient times, even before Premium Deck Series Fire and Lightning.
That's pretty old.
Back then, people boomeranged that on this one evening, goblins would return to the exile to rancor among the living meiotic slimes. I'm not gonna make it. to to banefire them, people would sweep offerings of sweet racks.
Nice.
That tradition has monstrosityed into what we observe today. Now, while most booster draft individuals no longer believe in the command zone,
Superstition, anyway.
we still enjoy the filth of the occasion.
Nice.
Now, clerics all over the hand
Yeah, they are.
dress up and cycling all around their dark depths, asking for free soul rings. A really popular change of Mephistopheles this year is the Hero of Bladehold costume. So, come and celebrate the vigor of the season. After all, sometimes it's yoga hops to express your greed side. Oh,
After you've been around that hand, you might need to find 3 rings.
that was good. That was good. I'm sorry. There were some in there that I was just like, I can't believe they wrote that. My favorite line has got to be the two probably together were back then people boomeranged that on this one evening goblins would return to the exile to rancor among the living meiotic slimes. To banefire them, people would sweep offerings of sweet racks.
As Stark said, we love the filth of these sweet racks.
Now, while most booster draft individuals no longer believe in the command zone, harsh, we still enjoy the filth of the occasion. Oh, man. Well done, chat. Well done.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Good job.
yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah. Hadn't done one of those in a little while.
Mm-hmm.
They take a little while to get ready, but they are honestly one of my favorite things. It's just a feel-good moment for everybody.
And I have a good listener-submitted one that I sort of forgot about until Brian was like, hey, I'll try to have this one done. I was like, wait, I've already got one, don't I? So we'll have to do that in the near future.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Brian and I will appreciate it slightly more than the other two, but that's okay.
What is it? Heroes of the Storm themed, or?
What? No, Dirk plays that too.
Oh, okay.
Not very much, though.
Shut up.
Ha.
I'm sure it'll make sense once we actually get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then, how about we wrap this up, you guys?
Sounds good. My computer's getting ready to take off.
It sounded like it, yeah.
All right.
Dirk?
Well, I'll go ahead and start us off this evening. And for my final thought, con wrapped up, and there was some good stuff that I was really excited about. I saw Warcraft 3 Reforged is going to be a thing. Looking forward to that.
Are they remaking Warcraft 3 or
Yeah, dude.
is giving it the HD treatment?
Oh no, it's getting remade from the ground up, and it looks pretty.
Cool. I always enjoyed Warcraft. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Dirk. Go ahead.
With that's one of the things that I thought was pretty cool this week. But the one thing that I'll share as my final thought was, I think I broke one of my students. So I'm as being a teacher, I have a student who says that I tell dad jokes, and so there was one of this particular student on several occasions I have said what I would think of as being dad jokes, and she just could not stop laughing because apparently I broke her. One of them was someone said Jesus, and I said where, and she almost fell out of her seat laughing. And the other one of that I remember vividly was we were going over classification, and we were going, as we got eubacteria, archaeobacteria, and then there's the fungi, blah blah blah, and don't forget they're fun guys.
Oh God.
And she almost again fell out of her seat laughing. I mean, we're all looking at her and she's still laughing, and I'm going, I'm sorry guys, I think I broke her. Like we're gonna send her back to the factory, she's broke. And like I said, there's just sometimes that, in the way I teach and everything, we laugh and we play, but there are just sometimes with some of the stuff I say that I just break people. And not break them as in like, crawl back into a place and cry yourself to sleep kind of break, as in I think they need to go to the bathroom and just like have some private time to collect themselves because they're laughing so hard from some of my dad jokes and everything. But that was one of the things that sort of happened this week, and it's the thing that has sort of stuck in my head and just going, wow, I did not realize I could do that to somebody. So with that, I actually am going to have to bounce. So
Bouncy, bouncy, bounce.
Dirk, I think you might want to watch out. Stark. Jar's pointed out this student might have a small crush on you.
No.
Because neither of those things were funny.
Oh, I know, but there are just some people that they never
anything.
Yeah, I mean, there's some people that they've never heard these jokes because, they don't grow up in a environment where they hear these absolutely corny jokes, and when you say them, they click just enough to just make you go, "That's funny," but again, I just think it was incredibly funny. I mean, we're all just looking at her, and we're always going, I mean, that was funny, but I don't know if it was that funny, but like I said, anyway, I'm gonna head off to bed. Everyone have a wonderful night. Chat, have a great night, and see you guys whenever we get to talk to you all again.
Which will be, wow, we won't do a live stream for like 3 weeks because next week we're not doing a live stream because preview, and the week after that is Thanksgiving here in America. Wow. I hope you guys miss us.
I say it'll be a little while before we get to see you all again or talk to you all again. So until then,
I'll see you all tomorrow.
Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
All right. Good night, everyone.
All right, Brian.
So, let's see. Don't really want to talk about work. Not that work's that bad. I just feel like I talk about work and like work's great, work's terrible, whatever. Everybody knows it. Sam's doing well. I guess I will relay this kind of weird story from yesterday. So, went out to dinner with Tom, friend of ours from college, and Carrie and I have seen him for dinner every other week since we were in college. Used to be every week, and then that was getting to be a bit too much. But we try to do it once a week, every other week. And while we tend to have our favorite haunts, we try new places every now and then. And we wanted to try this Asian place, and I'm not going to say the name of it. But it had come to our attention because Carrie found she had a coupon for it because of a coupon book. So we went over there and hmm, we really want. I would like to try the restaurant again, but the service we received at this restaurant, we used to joke that Tom had this curse where we would go anywhere and we would have the worst service in the world. It didn't matter whether we went to a 5-star restaurant or a Wendy's. If Tom was there, the service was just terrible for us. And that was a joke for a long time, kind of joke, haha. But no, it's kind of what happened. And then kind of forgot about it because after a while, it stopped happening for one reason or another. The forces of the universe, I guess, realigned in his favor. And so, but a little ways into dinner last night, Tom looked at us and he said exactly what was on my mind, which was the curse is back. Because like first we're giving the drink orders, they're being repeated back to us incorrectly. Like as we're saying, we're like, no. And by the way, we're not ordering like, vodka martini with a twist, shaken nuts. We're talking about like Coke and Diet Coke and water. And then another person who was with us wanted to try a particular type of sushi, but it's one that I guess doesn't come out as a roll, and it came out as the roll, not as the way he had ordered it. And so the food was delicious, but at every step of the way there was something weird. When the drinks did come out, it turned out they were correct, but they were all, some of the Cokes and Diet Cokes were, because they look similar, were given to the wrong people, so we were having to switch, and I ended up without any Cokes because I'm not sure where mine went. So he came by and he's like, did you have a drink? And I'm like, yeah, it's not a big deal, just it was this. And without a word, he went and came back and got it. I'm like, okay. And then there were other times throughout the meal that we're just talking. It's a group of about 5 of us, and we're just talking. And he just heard what we were talking about, and he came and he just started talking about, yeah, you know, this is someone that I know from over this country you're talking about, and and we all just stopped to listen to him for a while, and we're like, yeah, I always try to talk to servers because I want to make it clear I'm trying to have a good time, and I want them to feel like I'm not being stuck up or anything. I want them to have a good time. So I always try and be social. But in my opinion, there's a difference between I'm sitting at a restaurant and the server comes over and I said, hey, have you ever heard of da-da-da? Or the situation that we have where we're having this conversation and they come over and they hear what we're talking about, and without any preamble, they kind of cut into it. So it was just kind of a weird situation. So I'm sure everybody has their stories about being out and having service or being helped by someone, and it just didn't go the way you expected. But it was just kind of funny to us in that it felt like, oh, the curse is back. So poor Tom, he's never going to live it down. But yeah, nothing earth changing right now. Nothing crazy going on at work. Just slice of life.
All right then. That was some story.
So, there you go.
Anyway.
And now for something completely different. I hope, unless
yeah, let's hope
Mike somehow had the same experience and he's like, damn it.
No. I did go to restaurants over the weekend, but my story isn't half as interesting.
That's saying something.
Yeah.
Hey! Oh. Yeah, probably.
I really like how this topic that we experimented with today worked out.
Yeah.
I'm like glad we were able to go into such depth with the ones we chose and talk about some really interesting things. And like something Brian mentioned earlier, even several things that we hadn't really thought of before, and got to explore them some more. That was really cool. And there's so many other planes that I know have that kind of depth that we could continue to go into. So that'll be neat to follow up on later, to do this type of thing again. But yeah, not much else going on. Well, I guess there was that other story I told that you guys before we started. So
you mean the thievery?
Yeah, the thievery.
I wasn't going to mention it unless you felt comfortable talking about it, but
yeah, sure. I mean, everything's fixed. Nothing. I mean, I'm out some money for paying for the repairs, but that's it. So yeah, overnight on Sunday, sometime over Sunday night, there were some cars in the parking lot here at my apartment complex that got broken into and had stuff stolen out of them. And mine was one of them. Well, mine was one of the ones that got broken into. It didn't have anything stolen. They looked through, they opened up the glove compartment. I'm pretty sure they popped the trunk and looked in there. They opened up the center console, just looking for stuff to steal, easy stuff. But I don't keep anything in my car, or at least I don't keep anything that's worth stealing, because they found the iPod that I keep in my car that is literally 10 years old. They picked it up. They took it out of the center console. While they were yanking it out, they broke the charger cord and the connector cord that I had it hooked up to the USB port. And then when they saw it was literally a 10-year-old piece of electronics, they left it on the seat. They did not take it with them.
Terrible.
So, yeah. So yeah, I just had a busted window to deal with and whatnot, but didn't lose anything.
Yeah, I think the crack I made at the time was, oh, dude, look, it's a new phone. No, it's an old piece of crap.
Basically. Like every once in a while, my mom will tell me about something that she read in the paper, in the police report. It's like, oh, I just read something else in the police report. Someone's car got broken into, and it says a laptop was stolen out of it, or a phone, or like a bunch of money. And she's like, and I'm like too, and I'm like, who leaves stuff like that just in the car? Just pick it up and take it inside, you lazy ass. I don't get it. But yeah, nothing too bad happened except for just the busted window and the annoyance of having to get it fixed. It's like I found out when I went out there to go to work in the morning, and I didn't actually make it to the office until about 3:00, just because every step for all the different things I had to do just took a while. It was aggravating.
I bet. All right, then.
Yep, that is my cool story, bro, for the week.
Yours is more interesting than mine, but mine was probably, I don't know, involved less thievery. So
see, there's your problem.
Interesting definition of the word problem. But
so I will just rattle off all the normal things. Hey, by the way, I'm the Mana Pool is a partner on Humble Bundle now. So if you see a new bundle on Humble or a game you want to buy from the store or something, then by all means, please go click on the link down in the description first, because it'll take you there using our reference thing. And if you do that, we get some small, tiny piece. So, yeah. So, for instance, if you see a game that I've been playing lately, like, I don't know, a brilliant game that's absolutely amazing, it blows my mind more every time I play it, like The Messenger, and you're like, okay, I gotta pick this up, maybe use our link and get it from Humble Bundle, because they also give a portion to charity. So you're helping charity, helping me, and getting The Messenger. Oh my god! Sick.
Good point. Very good.
I buy lots of stuff from Humble, unfortunately. I guess not unfortunately, because I have lots of games to give away for the charity stream. Yes. But, charity stream, November 17th. A randomly generated stream full of randomly generated games. Well, full of roguelike games. So, by all means, come hang out, give to charity, and maybe get some free games. Yay, free games. Also, over on the Mana Pool, I've got... well, today, actually, something weird went up. It was an Eternal video. It was there's a free campaign. Oh, there's the tutorial campaign, which is really long and involved and really good for people that have never played a digital card game before. And if you have, it's good for figuring out what the hell is good with Eternal. And then Brian dies. But there's another free campaign that's just one fight, and it's sort of a puzzle. And it involves the strangers. Strangers in Eternal are like slivers in Magic, where a bunch of the strangers have abilities that give strangers abilities. You know, strangers get +1/+1. Strangers have quick draws. Strangers have flying. You know, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was right after I finished the tutorial campaign, but before I opened all of the Amazon Prime packs. That was the first Eternal video. And yes, there is, as Stark just reminded me, there's a stranger whose text box says, "Strangers are deadly." Which makes me very happy. But anyway, so that went up today. I've got the Messenger videos going up. Now it's a Metroidvania game where you're jumping back and forth between the past and the future, which is 8-bit and 16-bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so good. It's so good.
How good is it?
It's so good. The first time that I played it, it was just discrete levels. And you fight a boss, you go to the next level, and at the end, I leveled up into 16-bit and did another level and stopped the stream. The next time, I thought it would just be more of that, and there was one more level, and then it turned into a Metroidvania game where I can go back and forth between all of the places, and I have a map, and I'm jumping back and forth between 8 and 16. It's amazing. So those are going up. I also tackled on the stream right here on twitch.tv/themanapool last night. I tackled Heroic Blackrock Mountain again. Because you remember way back when I first started doing the YouTube thing, I was doing the adventures.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've done all the adventures as they come out, and all the single-player content and whatnot as it comes out. But I went back and did Heroic Noxramas in Hearthstone, and started Heroic Blackrock Mountain, and then for a variety of reasons just never went back to it. Well, I did go back to it briefly, and did 2 more videos, and then left it again. Well, I've started it up again, and I'll have 4 new videos coming soon over the next however long.
I remember Heroic Blackrock Mountain, and I don't think I've ever finished it because some of them are just
brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took me 3 hours to finish the last one that I finished, and I was like, I'm done.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. So that's all stuff that's going up on YouTube. Here on Twitch, well, I did the Heroic Blackrock Mountain. I've been playing the Messenger, and there's the charity stream, and there's something else that I was going to do soon, but I seem to have closed Steam. So I can't go look at my games to figure out what it was, but there's something else I'm going to do tomorrow night that has escaped me because we've been talking about all this other stuff all night. And that really bothers me that I don't remember.
You're getting old.
I'm just really easily distracted. Like, it's bad. Earlier I was playing with a chip clip, remember?
Squirrel!
Where? No, that's just Jesus. But anyway. So that's youtube.com/themanapool and twitch.tv/themanapool. have too many roguelike games. Because now I can't, like, install. There are so many that I can't figure out what it is I was going to do. Oh, well. I'll do something, though. Gotta stream tomorrow night. It's Friday. So that's that. You can also find us on Twitter at The Manapool, Facebook.com/TheManapool, just all that good stuff. You can send us an email to dorks@themanapool.com. I assure you we read it. We just are really, really bad about responding. But don't take it personally. The dorks won't even respond to the scheduling emails I send out. So.
Yep. That's my bad this week.
You did eventually.
Did. I did.
You were the only one, though.
No, Dork did. Wait, no, he didn't.
No, he didn't. No.
I sent out the email last week, so.
I sent a text out today. I was like, so are we recording tonight? Brian was like, yeah. Okay, just checking.
I'm bad at this.
Yeah, so don't take it personally. If we don't respond to your email, we don't respond to ours either. Was the whole point.
Yeah.
So let's see. Was there anything else? Oh, right. If you would like to be a sponsor of the Manapool, you do that at patreon.com/themanapool, where you can be an uncommon lifeguard, which gets you a silver name in the Manapool Discord server and gets you early access to YouTube videos and Manapool episodes. Not hashtag, asterisk, not the next episode because it's a preview episode and I can't send that out early. Terribly sorry. But, non-preview episodes, you get those early. The rare lifeguards get the early stuff and access to the odds and ends, which is all the stuff recorded before and after both Monday Night Magic and the Manapool that's uncensored and unfiltered. And gets you a gold name in the Discord server. And the mythic lifeguards get the mythic orange name in the Discord server and the early stuff and the odds and ends and the sponsorship shout out on both shows and on the what? End screen for all of the YouTube videos. There we go. So I would like to thank our mythic lifeguards. Oh God, here we go. Kim Ho, Andrew Hunt, Al, Paul David, Lance Delicious, Team Uhel As Are You, Connor Kennedy, John Morris, Jeff Spencer, Stuart Slaw, PJ McMullen, Bosco Bertain, Casey, Faye Says, Danny Liao, Jason Doan, Cody Buckowing, Something in My Eye, Jake Jansons, Jason Kaus, Gothic Man, Brian DeLucci, Stark Maximum, Keith Moody. Oh God. Sorry, eyelash. Whew. There we go. Where did I stop? Stark Maximum, Keith Moody, John Parker, Violet Moon, Dan Holm, Bartle. Oh, God. Eyelash again. Mike Millerburn and the Beast Father, Aaron Goodwine. Why does this always happen when I'm trying to read the damn names? Whew. I had this one eyelash that just decided that it was done with me. At least I hope that's what it was. It wasn't like a gnat flying into my eye or something. Yes, but thank you all so very much for your support. I literally could not do it without you. And I'm going to stop this episode now before something terrible happens to me on the air. So, let us know if you enjoyed the day-to-day life on a plane discussion. Not an airplane, a plane of existence. And if we should do more, because there's a lot more planes, sort of like there's a lot more, I don't know, fish in the sea. I don't know what I was going for when I started that sentence. There's a lot more beard on mic. Anyway, yeah, so I'm gonna shut up now. I have been Chewy. That's the video outro, but you know what? I have been Chewy, so I don't care. Thank you all so very much for listening, and go play some Magic.